Now, Steve, let's put some of the annoying and maybe frustrating at times logistics aside and talk about maybe the more fun aspects of this, which was getting to build essentially a television studio that the Stanley Cup playoffs would take place on. You guys have unique experience with doing kind of things like this. I don't know if it's fair to compare it to the stage that you build for like the Winter Classic, where you go into a venue you've never been before and you really kind of create almost like a snow globe world inside of a baseball stadium. When you got the chance to design what this would look like, what were some of the broadcast tools or toys or things that you put in place that you think really helped make this thing pop as a television product?
Yeah. So when we decided, what we were going to have to do, and that was to go into a bubble and bring all the teams in and play in an arena or two. Mm-hmm. My general philosophy on all of this was, our fans are not going to be there. So how do we service our fans at home? Our fans are going to watch from their couches. They're going to want to take this in, no matter how they're viewing it, in a way like never before. We also, uniquely knew that we were going to have an opportunity, because there were no fans, to set up an environment, a television environment, where you could put cameras where they couldn't go before. You could hang trusses and things that could never be there before. But, given, I guess, a little of my experience before I ever arrived at the NHL, and sure, what we do at the NHL with our outdoor games, we set out to build a television set. Mm-hmm. We were doing a made-for-television event. The stage was the ice and the rink, and everything around it is essentially a set. So, how do we create that environment that would, to your point, pop on television? And we started with the design, and knew that by bringing in LED screens and bringing in the colors of our team in terms of really cool graphics and video, we could sort of change the dynamic from game to game. That was super important, so that the game between Colorado and Dallas looks a little different than the game between Washington and the New York Islanders. And sometimes that was just because of the colors of the team. We knew that some things were going to have to stay the same. We put seat covers out there, but we, unlike some other leagues, didn't want to do the real kitschy. We didn't really want to go for the cardboard cutouts or the virtual fans or the Zoom fans. We just felt like, let's bring this game in this environment to our fans. And it was actually quite the lesson for our TV partners. They're used to broadcasting hockey games. They're really good at it, mm-hmm. amazing at producing a hockey game. But we had to work with them on producing a television show, incorporating all these elements that were in the LED screens. We wanted to highlight our players, highlight our teams. We brought in lighting directors from Hollywood, from, just a different mentality of how we wanted to approach it. But, our philosophy was also, if we did something in the arena and it didn't make television, well, then why do it? So sometimes we had to do things, mm-hmm. and Ivan and Dan saw it 5, 10 times before it finally made air. But these were the processes and the thinking, in order to make it a vibrant television show. And then, as we went along, we added some elements that, obviously got us also some attention. We brought some humor into the mix. We made fun of ourselves at times, mm-hmm. and had some fun, but at the same time, our effort was to produce a made-for-television broadcast.